Morning, Kevin here, and there's Cynthia.
Morning.
Just the two of us today. Steve's probably playing golf, but we are at Bramshott Common, and we are going to look for the Canadian War Memorial, which is further down the common, I believe.
Yeah, right on the edge of the A3.
Right on the edge of the A3, and also to try and find, which won't be hard, the maple trees that were planted in honour of the Canadian soldiers that fought in World War I and World War II. So hopefully we'll get a good view of those and bring them to you in the video. So we're going to press on down through the common. Bramshott Common was used as a base for the Canadian Army, certainly in World War II, but possibly World War I, but I'm not certain about that. But just behind me, we've still got one of the old concrete roads that used to be part of the army base here. And the army base was huge. It covered the whole of Bramshott Common. But Bramshott Common is still used by the military for manoeuvres. I don't think there's any live firing going on, but you do often come out here and you see soldiers about with all their camouflage kit on and all their big rucksacks, packs. I said jokingly just now to Cynthia that we'll probably meet some Gurkhas who are quite often out here. And we spoke to a lady just now that said she's actually seen some just now. And there's one solitary Gurkha soldier along this path somewhere, and she thinks the other group of soldiers that she saw were possibly looking for him. And if they were going in the wrong direction. We won't be able to film the soldier, I wouldn't have thought, but if I can get a sneaky clip of him, I'll try and do that. But this is all part of the old army camp. I'm not worried. Let me change hands because the sun. I'm not worried at all that we're heading down this way, down this path. I'm hoping the microphone can pick that up, because we're heading towards a lot of gunfire, and I've just heard some voices shouting in the distance. Let me just be quiet for a second. Don't know whether the microphone can pick that up or not, but it is almost non-stop, the gunfire. So Cynthia is staying behind me. I don't know what she thinks is going to happen. If she thinks I'm going to stop a bullet for her, I won't.
You're not going to take the bullet?
No, I won't take the bullets in.
Oh, God,
No.
I'm disappointed.
Sorry. So let's press on and see if we can interrupt the war games. Nah, no war games. Well, we are very close to the war games. Let me just stop.
Well, there they are.
There are soldiers away there to our left. So they're only just in this woodland to our left. But we're heading up this way towards the A3. It's another old track of an army camp that used to be here. And just up in front of me, and to my right, we've got two army vehicles just there to my right hand side. But it's quite fascinating to know that the old army camp, and here we are again on one of the old roads, or the area of the old army camp, is still in use. to train our wonderful soldiers. And as Cynthia knows, I have got a huge amount of respect for our armed forces.
As long as they don't shoot us.
As long as they don't shoot us, yeah. So the activity is down through this clump of trees. Can't see anything from here now, but that's where they all are. I'm quite sure you can hear the gunfire. Well, we've just met two lovely people, an elderly couple, and the lady was saying that her Canadian uncle was based here, which was a lovely thing to speak to her about. But just in front of us now is the memorial to the Canadian soldiers, and there is the plaque on there, which I will try and get close to, and so it can be read, but Cynthia will take a photograph. But it looks as if it's made of sandstone, and it's just a lovely thing, just in this little cutting on this road. And there's a seat, and it says in remembrance of Canada 1914-18 and 1939-45, and this is all made of wood, and it looks like oak to me, but I'm guessing it could be of maple. The other thing we wanted to find was the maple trees that were planted in honour of the Canadian soldiers. And I'm just going to go up this grass embankment here to try and show you just some of these trees that are here. And now I've come up out of the shelter of the road. The wind is quite strong, but as you can see, maple trees all the way up. Hopefully the camera can pick them up. Some lovely ones just through, and they're both sides of the A3. And there was 400 maple trees planted in memory of all the Canadian soldiers that died in World War I and World War II. Some of the trees, there used to be maple trees between each carriageway of the A3, and it was suggested that they were sycamore trees in some information that we found from 1995, but they weren't. As far as we're pretty sure, Cynthia and I, that they were all maple trees. In the information it said that they were diseased or had been hit by cars. Well, being hit by cars, yes, I can understand that, but diseased, I'm not so sure. But the trees, the original maple trees, were cut down in readiness for the alterations to this section of the A3. But then all the new maple trees were planted. And as I say, there are 400 altogether. And the servicemen that they represent are all mainly buried locally at Bramshott Church and Grayshott Church. Now, I've got some information which I am going to read to you. And during World War I and World War II, tens of thousands of Canadian volunteer soldiers came to England to fight for freedom. Bramshott was one of the largest training areas for Canadian soldiers in the United Kingdom. Whilst undergoing training, the soldiers became part of the community of Bramshott and Liphook. Bramshott is a small village in Hampshire, situated just off of the A3 London to Portsmouth main road, 1 mile north of Liphook. During World War I, a camp was established on Heathland and between Bramshott and Liphook, as well as wooden huts for accommodation. There were corrugated iron huts providing a cafe, bank, shop and even a cinema. Canadian General Hospital number 15 tended those suffering from general sickness as well as those wounded in fighting. Many soldiers, having survived the war, became victims of the Spanish influenza pandemic which struck the world from 1918 to 1920. So that's, you know, a bit strange because we're out here filming today and we've got the pandemic sweeping the world at the moment with coronavirus, and the million, just over 1 million people so far worldwide have died of COVID. I'll just leave you with a shot, unfortunately, of the traffic, but of some lovely maple trees that are along the side of the road. We've just left the memorial, and, well, so Cynthia has, she's gone on ahead, and I'm now heading down under the A3. So just above me is the southbound traffic. Both sides of the underpass have had anti-graffiti paint put on, which these were, shall I say, festooned with graffiti. And now under the northbound carriage, some of the stuff that was on these walls was rather obscene. So you can understand why it was taken off. So now we're the other side of Bramshott Common, and just coming up this little bit of an incline. Haven't got a clue where Cynthia's gone, but we've got tracks right and left, and then we come out onto this open common land. People walking towards us in the distance. I'm just going to backtrack slightly, because just down here, I've got the sun right in front of me, but just down here we've got the maple trees as well. As I said earlier, they're on both sides of the A3, but when I turn the camera around, you're going to have to be careful with the sunlight, but I want to get into a position so I can show you these trees, because they're beautiful. I'll walk past these ones, I think, and then just show you down this line of trees. And just here you can see Cynthia's down there in the distance, so we've got the line of maple trees all the way down through there. And then if I turn round, there's another one there, beautiful colours, and they continue up in a line along here. But I don't know this side of the common very well, so in fact I've never walked on the side before, so I'm being guided by Cynthia. But here again, Look at these colours. Absolutely beautiful. And of course the trees are shedding their leaves. We've just had some lunch, quick break, and we're just on our way along this other bit of common land. Let me just show you this. Just here to my left hand side we've got an oak tree with acorns on it. Ooh. And it's beginning to rain. There's the acorn. I'm not sure what that is.
Cecil oak.
That is a Cecil oak. And away to my right we've got a clump of silver birch trees with lots of ferns all round us. But it's just coming on to rain, which is not what we were expecting today. And spoke to hiya. We spoke to one of the military training officers just now, and he was explaining to us about all the difficulties they have when they're on this sort of land with horse riders and mountain bikers and motorcyclists. And you know, it's at the end of the day it's about common sense and working with everybody. Don't do what you're not supposed to do. At the end of the day, Bramshott Common is military land, but with rights of way on it, public footpaths, etc. So that was quite an interesting conversation to have with him. So we're going to go along here a little bit further, and then we're going to head back into Bramshott Church to the military war graves where the Canadian soldiers are buried, I should say. So we're going to press on along this.